we've done some of this, but I want to hear what you notice particularly to men and women. So I saw that you had a post about the types of things that you see often in men. One of the hallmarks that everybody can point to is they've got one emotion, and it's anger. Can you talk about broadly across American society, what is going on with men from a psychological, emotional thing? We hear a lot about toxic masculinity. What is your perspective on the masculine and men generally in, let's say, America?
Yeah. Globally, I think humans struggle, adults struggle, are ill-equipped to deal with their emotion. If we want to kind of direct the conversation along more gendered lines, but I would say that globally, I think women, it just looks different. Yeah. Again, we've adapted. Maybe we can maybe relate more to the pleaser, the helper, the selfless, doer for someone else, the caretaking role, things like that. There's just different adaptations. So I think at our core, we all really, really struggle to tolerate and to navigate our emotional experiences. And even more so, I think the societal messaging, the familial messaging that's passed down. I even think about just evolutionary roles, like back in time in terms of what certain, gendered individuals more or less did or were responsible for in our earliest groups. And it did look different. And there's different energies and different expressions and, different ways that, the world is navigated. And saying that to say, then we have all of this different societal messaging that is often kind of born on this idea, just go to anger, right? That men's role is to be tough and to pillage and to, take control of or to defend, and in an evolutionary way, likely there was a group of male identified individuals at some time where that was the natural energetic expression that benefited that community. And obviously, female identified individuals at that time, maybe energetically were more naturally, kind of shifting into other roles. And then, so with that, then I do think got layered upon layered and all of this idea of, weakness and what it is. And maybe the one appropriate emotion, again, being this more kind of angry, controlling kind of way of being that then gets reflected back from society and oftentimes celebrated then by other kind of messaging that just continues to lock us in our cycles, whatever it is. And I think, with women on the other side of it's very much like the caretaker, the putting others first, this kind of idea of being good girl, if we really want to gender the kind of good person conditioning. I think that can, very much be a part of that. And, again, I think at our core, we are more similar. We have the same range of emotions that we are tasked to figure out how to navigate. We're similarly ill-equipped, and I do think that unifies us are just adaptations and the ways that we've navigated it and been validated have kind of evolved us to look very different. But I think the work really is the same, right? Becoming aware of what is the conditioning that we're carrying that's disconnecting us. If you are, a male listening and anger you're really comfortable with, there are many other human emotions, to make space for, and again, it begins with you. Are you able to even be sad in your room, right? Are you able to, kind of grieve for maybe what wasn't in your room? Are you able to create space for yourself before then you're able to safely communicate that to someone else? And again, that applies to women even listening too, right? If you only kind of cycle around one emotion, to hear me say that, in my opinion, there's like 6 core emotions, if they're not present, if you also can't come back or rebound from an emotion, how long we're spending in emotions is also a signal for our ability or our inability and our nervous system's inability to come back to that calm, grounded state. For some of us, right, having emotions, anger lasts for days, weeks of resentment. My mom, that silent treatment I was sharing would go on at the time I can recall it being its worst when she actually found out that I was gay was almost probably 2 months. Wow. Of time of that feeling that my mom wasn't actively consciously being, she was caught in that feeling that was so alive for her for that long that she actually couldn't rebound herself to reconnect with me. And then when she finally could, at whatever point that would be, it would be as if life just
nothing
resumed,
happened. Yeah.
Like nothing happened, just get back on track. And because that really did track on to my mom's emotional world. She was stuck in the emotion, and then finally her body downshifted, and whether it was disappointment or anger or whatever it was that I upset her caused emotionally, that finally went away, and she was able to return to baseline, and then our relationship was able to go back. So again, any of you listening, right, if emotions are living, I mean, there's physiological, scientific, I cite it in my first book, How to Do the Work. It's upwards of like 90 seconds of the physiology, the neurotransmitters, the shifts in our nervous system and sensations that are associated with the emotional experience. So the reality of it is we're living in them for much longer, because our nervous system is stuck and can't downshift physiologically, or we're not giving it the chance to because we're going on that walk to calm down, but we're rehashing the story that actually I come home more upset, right?
Yeah.
So now my
mind... Because I've got six new ways I'm going to poke at you now, because I thought,
6 new ways and 6 other ways that you've actually done this to me that I never brought up and now, right? So our mind then gets involved. And so when I say, 90 seconds, I know that's not the lived experience that most of us are having, but that is our actual physiological ability. We can cultivate that in ourselves. So are we feeling all of the ways? Are we feeling sad? Are we feeling joyful? Are we feeling fearful? Are we feeling disgusted? Are we feeling surprised? Those being core emotions. And can we come back from feeling that way and come back to calm, to peace, to baseline? Even me saying that, for some of you listening, you might never, I know for decades, I never really felt peacefulness in my body, grounded presence in myself. I wasn't able to actually feel that way because physiologically I wasn't. I was stuck. For me, it was in worry, stress, fear, on the kind of fear core emotion cycles that I was stuck in that lasted for decades until, again, I did the work with my body. I learned how to be in my own grounded presence and actually how to regulate my emotions so that I could finally not only express them to myself that I was having this emotion, then express them to the world.